Wow, guys. The funny thing is that I experienced this. I obviously was there to record it, to interview Felicia Rashad, to make the Coretta jacket for her, to go back to Howard University and present the 2023 award to her, acknowledging the work of Bisa Butler so that we can honor her and her work this year in 2024. But to watch the video, it's almost like having an outer body experience because it's just amazing. It's amazing um, to be in this position to be able to honor such amazing women such as Felicia Rashad and Bisa Butler. So in this moment, I just want to first introduce to you to Bisa Butler. Not that she needs an intro because her work speaks so much. And even before, let me step back because when I first opened the studio in 2017, I remember reaching out to Bisa and I said, just via email, like, hey, Bisa, I have this studio called So Creative Lounge, and at that, I would like to invite you to do an exhibition. Now, this is before Bisa's large exhibitions all over the country. And she was like, well, I'm booked up for the next year. And I was like, okay, well, don't forget about us. If you ever come to this area or want to teach or anything like that, just let us know. And so here we are 7 years later. And I've been following her. I've been going to her exhibitions. And I'm just honored, utterly honored to have this moment with her. So, just a little bit about her for anybody that does not know. She was born in Orange, New Jersey, and she developed her artistic talent early, winning an art competition at the age of 4 years old. She was raised by a college president father and a French teacher mother, and she graduated from cum laude from Howard University with a fine arts degree. Okay. So during her time at Howard, she was mentored by notable artists and began exploring fabric as her primary medium. Butler furthered her education with a master's from Montclair State University, where a fiber arts class inspired her to create portrait quilts, a medium she has pursued ever since. Butler taught high school for almost 13 years in New Jersey before her art career took off. Recently, she received a Gordon Parks Foundation Fellowship and exhibited Art Basel in Switzerland with the Jeffrey Dutch Gallery. Her work has been showcased in solo exhibitions and is held in very prestigious collections like the Smithsonian, the Art Institute of Chicago, and the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. So without further ado, I'd like Bisa Butler to welcome her to our studio.
Hello.
Hi, Bisa.
Hi, Cecily. Thank you so much for having me and for that beautiful introduction. And I just want to say a thing that's really tripping me out is you saying Dr. Felicia Rashad and Bisa Butler. Like, how are these two names in the same sentence? So I just want to thank you for uplifting me and uplifting our community and having me here.
Yes, yes. When I think about artists and I think about your work and what they represent, you're a culture keeper. You're using the fabrics, you're showing the medium, you're showing our lifestyles through your work and putting it on big stages. And
Mhm.
so, even though you haven't been doing it as long as somebody as like Felicia Rashad, you're on that path. She
Well, thank you very much.
did you hear
She's my Howard sister. I did. I was shocked. Something about Felicia Rashad is she's so approachable and down to earth,
her?
but she still gives off, or I should say, it's probably the opposite, but the Claire Huxtable vibes are still there. When you're in her presence, you watch like I tend to speak maybe in contractors or maybe throw slang in there. But when I'm speaking to her and when I'm speaking to my mother-in-law, I'm careful not to do those things.
Yeah, yeah. I do the same thing. And my first major interview was Felicia Rashad, right? So
Wow.
sitting there in the same chair, and I'm like talking to a woman who's so eloquent, so
Yes.
cool, and has this
Yes.
demeanor where she's my mother, she's my TV mom.
Right. Right.
That moment, and even when I went back to visit her office, I was just like, ah.
It's pretty incredible. It's incredible for her to come back to Howard. When I was a student there, she and the other legends who came through Howard were up on the walls and we would hear about them. Or sometimes they might come on campus and do like a huge lecture, but you didn't have any one-on-one contact with her. That was in the heyday of her TV career because I started Howard in 1991 and wasn't finished till 95. So she was going strong in film, TV, and Broadway.
Mm.
But to have her come back as a dean, it really brings it full circle when she talked about Howard and how it's she's doing a service. I thought about our motto at Howard is utilitas et veritas, truth and service, and how much she took that to heart. And it's still inspirational to this day. Even though I'm at this space, I look at her and women who've come before me like this is the path. This is how you become a complete human being. Like without doing service to the community, it's not, you're not complete, you're not finished.
Mm. Yes, yes, I definitely agree. So I want to just turn to you for a minute. And what I did was yesterday, I asked our participants in the So Much So conference a few questions.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
they gave questions back for me to ask you. So the first thing is, how did you get started in quilting?
I got started in quilting through going to school, actually. I don't come from a quilting background that I know of. My mother was born in New Orleans, and like many African Americans, we don't necessarily know what our ancestors were doing in the times of slavery. You know, a lot more of us have ancestors who were free, but we know that the primary way that we got here was through bondage, enslavement. So it's possible that I had ancestors who were quilters, but not to my known knowledge. And I was getting my master's in teaching art at Montclair State that you had mentioned before. And I took a class. Part of that master's program was that you had to have Montclair State's core art classes. And their core art classes were not just drawing and painting, sculpture, or like media arts, but you had to take jewelry making and you had to take fiber arts, which we didn't have at Howard. So that meant, although I was really in a more academic or philosophical program, I had to take those studio courses. And thank God that happened because I made a tiny little oven mitt sized quilt in the class. And that in itself, I think I made like it was a landscape. That in itself was open doors for me in my mind that I didn't need to glue fabric on a canvas and a board, which is what I was doing before that, but that there was something, not only were there quilts, but quilts could be art and quilts could be pictorial. And you could make anything you want, any kind of image you want using that cloth. And another requirement for the class was that we had to go see the G's Ben quilts in New York. And if I'm thinking it right, they came to the Whitney in 2004, and I had to go see the show and remark upon it. And walking through the galleries, I saw the Petway quilts and the beautiful denim quilts and some with worn cloth on the walls. And I thought to myself, well, these women are doing it. you can be a professional fine art quilter. That's something that will suit you perfectly. Um, and I remember walking through that exhibit and thinking at that moment, like, this is what I want to do.
Hmm, I love it. And so your father is from Ghana, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
How the
Born
have
and raised.
how has your father and being Ghanaian yourself influenced your?
Mhm. Growing up in an international family, my father's first generation, or I should say, maybe I'm first generation. I always get that confused, but I'm a daughter of a naturalized US citizen. Um, it gave me an international perspective right off the bat. I always knew there was never this inner conflict that is forced upon us as African Americans, but trying to decide, am I an American, just an American? I was born here. My ancestors were born here. We built this country. I'm an American, but I'm also very much an African. So that conflict wasn't there. But in the early 80s, it wasn't so easy being different. Even Black people, we had gone through um, the Black Pride movement of the 60s and the 70s. But during the 80s, as always, we're always fighting back negative media imagery on being Black and just being African. So it wasn't the easiest thing to say that we're having fufu at home or that, my cousins, some of them may have scarification on their faces. So I grew up like in this blended family where during special occasions, my relatives might wear kente wrapped around them. And my mother grew up in Morocco. My grandfather was a U.S. emissary, so she also, while she was 100% American, she had an international point of view because of where she was raised. So I have a lot of Muslim relatives as well. And those influences came through because I got used to the idea that there were some fabrics that were revered. There were some fabrics that meant certain things. My father's from northern Ghana, and the kente that they have, you'll see like a lot of navy and white or brown and white, very deep earth tones. The fabric is a little thicker. Um, Even though it's hotter in northern Ghana, I don't know why the fabric is thicker, but it's a different texture, different colors. And so I grew up understanding that the cloth signifies place, signifies family, it can signify wealth. And then I have two aunts who, actually three, who lived in Cote d'Ivoire. My mother's sisters, after being raised in Morocco, when they came back to the States, they're all in the early 20s. And they had kind of like slight accents because they had to speak French mostly all the time. And those formative years were spent in the international community. And they were drawn to Africa from then. Three of them married Ivorian men, and so they would come home to New Jersey in the summers and bring me and my sister's cloth. And I remember my aunts teasing us and saying, like, oh, this cloth means that you have a rich boyfriend, or this cloth means that you have a sugar daddy. So I understood that the cloth, the meanings could also have humor and have stories, whole folk tales attached to them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting you tell these stories because there's so many things going full circle just from your saying. Because I literally just got back from Ghana a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
We went with about 100 people in our sewing.
Wow.
We studied.
Amazing.
We had our naming ceremony. We made batik fabrics. We had so much fun doing it that we went back twice.
Yes.
Um, Slave.
What's your name now?
My name is wait, I got to get both of them. Hold on, Abena.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I forgot the middle name. He caught me. I'm gonna explain it.
I
Here's the thing. I'm 7 months pregnant. So
Oh,
no, I'm talking
congratulations.
okay, but like Quabina, it's like Abena Quabina, I think the middle name is.
Yeah,
Look up
beautiful.
literally on my stove. But yeah, we had such an amazing time just learning about the culture and the fabric and how it's all connected. So I'm happy to
Yes,
hear you speak about it as well.
yes.
Um, so you are obviously the second person that we are honoring with the Culture Keeper Award. And as we talked about before, Felicia Rashad was the first one. And as the current dean of the Chadwick Bozeman College of
Bozeman.
and I say Chadwick in that way because he was also a good friend of mine. We overlapped just a few months at Howard, and he lived
Oh,
with a good friend of mine. And we kept in
mhm.
touch throughout his years as he grew to be the person that he is today. Or
Yes,
it's hard to, you understand.
I understand. I do.
Um, but what does it mean for you to be honored with the Culture Keeper Award?
It means a lot. We talked about always at Howard, it was always this idea that we were the talented 10th or even less than that, maybe the talented 1%. Those students and those people whose parents, grandparents sacrificed for us. And, being in DC, it wasn't hard to see that we were privileged. On your walk to school, we know that DC has a huge problem with unhoused people and people not having the mental health treatments that they need. So on your way to school, you're walking past your own people who are really struggling. So I knew always that there was a lot of weight on my shoulders. And then being at Howard, when we studied, we'd hear about the W.E.B. Du Boises and Mary McLeod Bethune and people who I would say their backgrounds were similar to ours in a way, but in a different era, where some of the racism and some of the marginalization was more overt, and how they still fought to make sure that they made a better place for other people. So it means a lot to me to be getting the Culture Keeper Award. I feel so honored because it lets me know that I'm on the right path. If I'm receiving an award a year after Felicia Rashad receives the award, I know that it's huge. And I see the work that you're doing with the So Creative Lounge. And like you mentioned, that is a lifeline for us as a people to be connected to each other and to be connected through our craft, be connected to something that's very, very ancient for Black women. This is something that has binded our community probably since the first people walked this earth. So I'm really honored to be receiving the Culture Keeper Award.
Awesome. I love it. So I'm going to talk about inspiration a little bit. When you're working on a new piece, where do you draw your inspiration from?
I draw my inspiration from, I think, two main places. Not I think, but I share a studio with my husband, who's a DJ. He was a big DJ on campus back in the day. His name was John Butler at the time. He was DJ John Doe, and this was peak 90s. So it was all about Wu Tang and Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul.
Mhm.
And so even now to this day, we share a studio. So music is super inspirational. As you know, like a lot of the roots of hip hop, the beats are James Brown songs, or James Brown um, audio tracks. And so hearing the soul music from the 60s, the 70s, those songs are playing in the studio all the time. He might be playing Roy Ayers, baby, baby, look to the sky, trying to see the third eye. And so those images, those visual images start going through my head when I hear the music, and I start thinking about, oh, I want to be able to transform consciousness like Lloyd Ayers, you know. I want to hit them like James Brown, you know, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, and how can I do that? And then the second way that I'm inspired, so usually it starts with a song. It could be a poem or a phrase. And then I'll start looking through photographs, trying to think about what image to me inspires this say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. How can I visually make an echo to James Brown's music? And I'm really drawn to photographs of Black people throughout the centuries, from the earliest forms of photography, like the rugotypes and tintypes. Some of them, you know, some of those sepia tone images are really, really rich with information. Photography is incredible that even some of the oldest photographs have details that maybe we don't even catch in the digital photographs that we have today, especially because the way we consume photographs today is like on a screen, it's very, very quickly. And I really inspired by photographers who are us, the Black photographers like Gordon Parks and Jamel Shabazz, even photographers slash archivists like Deb Willis. They inspire me. I look through their images. I also love looking through National Archives images. I follow, well, I'm on Pinterest, like a lot of people, and I follow a lot of archivists online, some university collections as well. And I just see an image that strikes me. Sometimes the image, it just knocks you down. It's, you know, it's black and proud. And then from there, I start imagining what I might do. I love looking at older black and white images, or if the image is not older, I print it out in black and white so that I can be more imaginative and put my own spin on what is the sentiment that I want to say with this. Because I really do believe that we're limited in a sense by like what we could see with our eyes. I
Mhm.
grew up, you know, in a very spiritual household. My mother was Muslim. My parents divorced. My mother was Muslim. My father was Catholic. And there was a strong belief in the unseen. You know, what is the energy of a person? What is the spirit? What do the ancestors have to say? And I really like looking at black and white images because it allows, you know, the Roy Ayers third eye to open and allows you to flex your own imagination. What do you feel about this image? And that is not a philosophy that I came up with on my own at Howard. In the painting department, our professors would talk to us about using color as a tool, um, using colors that like red and orange and yellow. These are colors that are considered warm, but they're also colors that you associate with your blood, with your heartbeat. You know, the faster you run, you know, the redder your cheeks might get. But this warmth and this energy is associated in the painterly world with bright orange, yellow, red colors. And then on the reverse, not just the painters, but the way we speak as African Americans, we've always used color in terms of mood. That idea of having the blues, and what does that mean? What does it feel like? And what are the colors associated with the blues? A lot of the jazz musicians, and I think, and forgive me, music historians out there if I'm wrong, but I thought it was like the 30s and the 40s where we started having jazz musicians who were associating color and song and having this idea that your senses are they're intertwined. So I try to do that with my work as well. I'm trying to say something, not just about what the person looks like, but I'm trying to say something about what might be their inner spirit. and how can I express that?
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Um,
Thank you.
are there any particular artists? I know we talked about music artists, but any other quilters that may have influenced you or possibly still influence your work?
I look at art all the time. All the time. I had to make a quick trip to Chicago, which is how when we were talking, my schedule had to be changed
Yeah.
because this weekend is Expo Chicago, which is the annual big art fair that they have every year. And I was being honored at the Black Trustees Alliance. So they're Black museum trustees, curators, directors who have their own organization, and they were honoring me at their annual dinner. And in the room are people who are like yourself, creating the culture and keeping the culture and holding it. Some of the artists that inspired me, I saw this weekend. I saw works of Faith Ringgold. They were displayed at the booth for ACA Gallery, which is the gallery that represents her. And I've been recently reading her memoirs about her life growing up in Harlem. And it's so inspiring to me because Miss Ringgold or Mrs. Ringgold was a mother and was a fearless feminist advocate, and pushed through so many periods of time that can be difficult. You know, you yourself being pregnant, and I was once pregnant with two girls, but it's not the easiest thing to remember to do things for yourself and remember to create things for yourself. It's easy to become overwhelmed with the care of your children, the care of your family, your husband, your parents, and your job, other things. And so I really look to women like Faith Ringgold, Elizabeth Catlett, Lois Jones, for people who have passed, Alma Thomas. I'm looking at them for the clue. What's the key? The key to life. How do we make it through this United States and be able to hold our heads up high and still remain true to our artwork and our beliefs? And I'm also looking at living artists like Micheline Thomas and Amy Sherald. I'm naming mostly women because the artists who I admire, I like male artists too, or non-Black artists, but I'm looking at them holistically. I like what their art is. I may be in love with their art, but the part that makes me love it even more is how they are expressing and why they are expressing. And again, just seeing their art is giving clues to, like, this is how you can express this beautiful part that's inside of you and share it with the world and be a success.
Yeah. I had a lot of epiphany moments when I was away in Ghana, and one of them was just realizing that art is our weapon. It's our tool,
Mhm.
medium in which we can reach so many different people. Um, and I charged the people that were on the trip to use it as that tool, to let people know about injustices and our history and our culture. And I feel your work does that as well. And so, my question to you is, what do you hope your legacy will be?
I hope that my legacy will be one more person who helps with the liberation of Black people. I feel like all of us here, we've been here a long time. I mean, on this earth, but in this country, and we're still fighting a lot of battles. And I hope that I'd be one person who'd be looked at as a person who was pushing the agenda of Black liberation in every way, though. That means financial, um, religious, freedom and the power to make choices for our own bodies, our own autonomy. And I hope that my words, things that I do will be out here long after I'm gone and still be words that can lift people up rather than tear them down.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit because we're in the middle of a sewing and quilting conference. Any tips or tricks you would like to share with the quilting community? Anything you're like, oh, I think it's a great thing that
Tips.
I like to do and I like to share it with them, with us.
I feel like most of the people probably in your community sew a lot better than me. So on the technical side, I may not have a lot to add. But what is it? One thing that my father told me, you have to invest in yourself and you need the tools of the trade. So if there are sewists and quilters out there and you're telling yourself that you don't need that nice machine and you could just make do right now because there's someone else who's more important than you, um, that you need the tools to do what you need to do best. It was my father who pushed me to get my first long arm quilting machine. And they have a lot of finance programs too, because I would say the same thing. No, I can't afford it. It's not in the cards for me. And he was like, how are you saying like you love this so much, but you're not willing to invest in the tools? And another thing is to give yourself a break. If you want to create portraits, if you want to do something figurative, if you want to do a landscape or an interior of a room, allow yourself the freedom to just do it. Don't worry about is it perfect or is it great, because you're learning a process just in making. And that's something that we often do. I meet a lot of quilters who make beautiful work, more geometric style work than my own. And they'll say, well, I'm not an artist like you, but they absolutely are.
Yeah.
So don't second guess yourself. What you're doing is valid, it's important. And if it makes you feel good, lean into it. And if you want to do something new and you don't feel confident in it, still do it anyway. Um, we have enough people trying to hold us back. We don't need to hold ourselves back.
Yeah. Yeah. You've had a lot of major accomplishments in these last, I want to say 6 years. What is the one that you're like, or couple? Because I hate when people do this to try to make you identify that one that you're like most
Yes.
proud of.
Well, my exhibit at the Art Institute of Chicago really was something that I had prayed on and dreamed about my whole life. It happened right during pandemic. My show was supposed to open in November and the city of Chicago shut down. I think my show was open for one day. And then the governor and the mayor were kind of warring it out, and the governor was like, nobody should go outside. So the mayor shut the city down. But that was something, that was a moment that I was so proud to see my work in this vaulted museum that had been around for so many years, and so many artists that I respected, like Charles White, um, Mela Lewis, like so many artists had came through the Art Institute of Chicago, and the School of the Art Institute offered the ability for Black young folks to take courses before desegregation. Like this is back in the 20s and 30s. They already had Black students. So that moment, it was everything. And then the show finally did open for the public in June. And so that was a long period of time. The museum was shuttered up, it was closed, but the Obama exhibit, Obama portraits opened in June as well. So it felt divinely ordained. You know, not only was my exhibit was postponed, but it was elevated in ways that I would not have been able to do on my own. To be able to exhibit with the Obama portraits, so that's a legacy of Barack and Michelle. And then there was also the legacy of the artists, Amy Sherrill, the Kehinde Wiley, that I got to have my name on the same bill with theirs. So that was really a moment that I'm super proud of.
Yeah, and I remember vaguely you sending an email right after it closed. Do you remember doing this? And
I don't know what was the email.
it was just saying that the exhibit was going to be closed in Chicago.
Oh yeah,
And
yes.
but I was happy that I was able to visit it. I'm from Chicago, so
Oh, I didn't know.
to the exhibit with my mother, who's the reason why I'm here, the reason why I'm an artist today is because she's an artist as well. And so to have be able to share
Wonderful.
that moment with her and to go through the exhibit was pretty amazing. And she also said she met you at another exhibit in Chicago. I just can't remember which one she saw you at. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
What's your mother's name?
Her name is Patricia Stewart. Hmm.
Patricia Stewart. Okay, I'm gonna look through my archives and see.
And I asked, I said, Mother, did you take a picture with her? She was like, No, I forgot to do it. I was like,
Oh, wow.
um, so what's next for you?
What's next? I am preparing for Art Basel, Switzerland. Um, Art Basel is a big fair that they have in Miami every year. A lot of people go down there. It's a big party slash art exhibit. There's multiple fairs. There must be at least 20 art fairs that artists can be a part of. But the original Art Basel was in Basel, Switzerland, and their show opens in June. So I'm going to be exhibiting with Jeffrey Deitch at his booth, and that's in, yeah, I have to have the piece in early May. So that's what's most pressing on my mind.
Okay, so it's a brand new piece.
Well, it doesn't exist yet, but yes. Yes, it will be a brand new piece.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I want to be respectful of the time that we have together and just want to take a moment because I shipped you the award. So I just want you to take a
Yes.
moment to open the box and officially
Okay. This box has been here waiting.
let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go. Okay. I
Yeah.
have the box next to me. I did take the t-shirt out, but that was on top. Oh, oh, this is gorgeous. Oh, it's heavy. I have this box here, and this will be the first time I'm opening it.
Lovely.
Wow. This is beautiful. Let me see if I can hold it to it. So Much So Creative Lounge Culture Keeper Award 2024, presented to Bisa Butler. Let's see if I can.
It's
This is absolutely, there
good.
we go.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
you're welcome, and
It's
thank you so much
it's
for spending
gorgeous.
time with us. Again, we are so honored, not just me, but everybody in the chat. I don't know if you're looking at it, but everybody's so appreciative
Yes.
of your
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
work. Um, I'm speechless with so many thoughts at the same time. But I just want to thank you for your dedication to being a culture keeper, and I wish you the best. I wish you much success, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you. You are so welcome. Thank you to everybody who joined in. And I wish you nothing but the best. And I see you've got something good coming your way. So
Yeah.
I want to say congratulations on your upcoming addition to your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you,
Enjoy the
everyone.
rest of your day. Get some rest. I know you had a travel day as well.
No, now I have to get to work.
Oh, okay. All
Thanks.
right. Don't want to interrupt that.
All right.
All right.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
All right, guys. I'm coming back down. That was an absolutely amazing talk with Bisa Butler. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a quick 5 minute break. And we're going to get back to it with Tisha as we finish out well, not finish. We're going to start our part two of our modern mat bag. All right. We'll see you soon.